Whether you like it or not, Brandon Aiyuk is the number one leading story in the NFL after he requested a trade yesterday. And so everything that we have heard since then has been people's reactions to it. So, as we do on this channel, we share the reactions from people within league circles, people who've been in this position before, either trading players, etc. So, here we have kind of a thought process from a former general manager who joined Pat McAfee on his show earlier this morning. So, take a listen on if the 49ers are going to trade Brandon Aiyuk just because he requested a trade. Take a listen to how this general manager, or former general manager, I should say, is kind of contextualizing what the request means from the 49ers perspective. So take a listen to what he had to say right here.
The NFL is not the NBA. You can't be James Harden in the NFL. You can't say, I demand a trade, and then Daryl Morey will trade you. Like, you could say all the demands you want, but the 49ers aren't trading Brandon Aiyuk.
Okay, so D-Butt's going to ask you a question about this, I assume, here in a matter of moments. But there was a scene in Hard Knocks there where the Giants, don't give me a full Hard Knocks answer because I'm excited for the way D-Butt asked you the question, because we have been very fascinated by this. And we are very excited for you to kind of give your input on it all. But there was a scene where basically GM says, do we want to go through all the bullshit again with the Saquon Barkley, the public stuff, which leave that exact situation alone. Let's talk about just NFL league-wide. Whenever there is public bullshit and drama, humans in the front office and GM that weighs on them, or are the places that are good, they just, this is a part of the job. Like, because it feels like John Lynch, and also obviously with Bill Belichick up there at the Patriots, you were there, but Lynch has dealt with like this type of drama and bullshit numerous times before. They had Jimmy G practicing on another field in training camp. Another field. They said his era was over. He's on another field so he doesn't get hurt, and we're just trying to trade him, and then he ends up coming back. It's like they deal with the drama in the public. They're not worried about this getting too ugly or too dramatic or too much of a spectacle with Aiyuk. They seemingly set in. Why do some teams do that? And then it does seem like some situations, from what we're learning, it's like they don't want to deal with all the drama shit and the public shit.
It's called alignment, right? When you're aligned as an organization, then there's nothing from the outside can really affect you, because they can't get to your owner, they can't get to your vice president or president. Everything is kind of aligned. Everybody understands what we're doing. It's not on the same page. Everybody's on the same page. Today in 32 cities, everybody's on the same page, but not all the teams are aligned. Alignment creates the belief that the noise on the outside will never affect us. This is what we're doing. This is how we have to approach it. This is what we believe in. And I think the 49ers are perfectly aligned to handle that situation. Look, the Cincinnati Bengals, you don't think they have great alignment? Mike Brown, the president, owner of the team, he says he's not trading T. Higgins. You could take it to the bank. He said he wasn't trading Jesse Bates. You could take it to the bank. They're completely aligned. And it doesn't matter what the Cincinnati Enquirer writes or what the Post writes or what, any of the insiders talk about. You ain't changing what Mike Brown does, because Mike Brown's aligned in what he wants to do.
And those Niners have seemingly been the same exact way this entire time. And we're not saying it doesn't suck for Aiyuk. Like, I would love Aiyuk on the Indianapolis Colts. I would absolutely love Aiyuk on the Colts. But it's just like the reality of the situation, shout out to Ryan McGee, is like in the NFL, especially in this particular case, the Niners hold the cards for the next 3 years if they want to franchise tag them twice. And it's like, that sucks. But that's what happens with a lot of great teams, is like there becomes too much, too little to be able to give. And then who gets sorted and who's kind of the odd person out. Feels like Aiyuk is that. And we don't love it, but it is just, this is Niners football. And this is kind of how it's been.
But this is what was collectively bargained. This is what was, and so those tools and that apparatus that has been given to the agreement between the players and the owners and the management level is giving them the ability to have 3 more seasons with them. Now, look, here's the real rub. They don't want to trade Aiyuk, and they want to pay Aiyuk. The difference here is simply this. He has a certain level of value, and they have a certain level of what they perceive as value. It's called a negotiation, right? And so that's really the rub. It isn't because we don't want you or they don't want them.
I'm just now realizing that we actually have Lombardi's son on staff. So he is actually technically probably has a source very close to the San Francisco 49ers situation. I can't remember. I believe his name was Mick Lombardi. I believe he's an offensive assistant of sorts. We hired him from the Raiders. So there's a connection with the guy who just spoke to the 49ers and what they've been trying to do. But that's not the point. The point is what Lombardi was essentially saying is just because you request a trade doesn't mean the 49ers are going to acquiesce. Essentially, is that more than anything, this is, designed to do a certain thing. And that doesn't mean that this, and I do like the analogy of referencing it to the NBA because the NBA definitely feels very player driven. Like you literally just watched Bronny James get drafted in the second round by the Lakers after just an completely underwhelming college career, even if that's what you want to call it. And you just kind of feel like, well, that feels like LeBron James made that pick. And this isn't a situation to go back and forth about the NBA, just rather just how I'm quantifying what Lombardi just said in regards to what this means moving forward for the 49ers, because I think a lot of fans don't know what this means. I think, we have a reference point. We have other players who have requested a trade in the past, Raheem Mostert, Robbie Gould, there's been a couple guys who have requested trades. Debo Samuel, probably the most notable one, who got a contract when it was all said and done. And so here we are, we find ourselves in the same boat with a high-end player asking for a trade due to the fact that they can't agree on terms. So what does that mean? What does it mean for the future? I still think there is room to get a deal done. I'm in the mindset of that the 49ers aren't a better team without Brandon Aiyuk. Even if they were to get a proven player in return, I just feel like Brandon Aiyuk fits the fabric of what the 49ers do offensively, not only from a receiving standpoint, but as a blocker. We know how important he is in that category. So I don't love the idea of being without Brandon Aiyuk as the San Francisco 49ers are trying to win a Super Bowl. It feels like an all hands on deck mentality, and those are some of the hands that you want on this ship moving forward, because we understand that, I hear it all the time. People reference like what he did in the Super Bowl, and it's like, listen, man, you have to get to the Super Bowl first of all. And Brandon Ayuk's 75 receptions, nearly 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns was a big reason why they were able to do so. Just look at his catch in the NFC Championship game. That really propelled them into a position to win that game. So again, this is what we're going to get until training camp starts. Unfortunately, it's going to be a lot of opinions on Brandon Ayuk, and then hopefully we'll be able to transition into what's happening on the field at camp, and we can kind of, hopefully turn away from this. But again, until a deal gets done, these conversations will continue to be had. And unfortunately, for some of you who really don't like listening to it, and I understand, we are going to continue to cover it because it's a top story in the NFL and happens to be on the team that we cover. So I feel like I keep reiterating this because it feels like some people just aren't being able to connect these dots, that the biggest story in the NFL happens to be on the team that I cover. But nonetheless, that's not the point. The point is, will the 49ers actually listen to what Brandon Aiyuk has to say in regards to the trade request, or will they get a deal done? I'm hoping for a deal to get done. I continue to say it. I still believe that will be the outcome. It does become a little bit shaky, obviously, with the recent situation, but the hope is that we get a deal done and we can move on and focus on the field. But let me know what you guys think. Do you agree that the 49ers don't have anything? Because a lot of the things that we're hearing right now are about the other teams that are interested in Brandon Ayuk, and what we just keep hearing is 49ers, they have no interest in moving BA at this time. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below, and as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.